Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm gonna do a review on a movie I just watched. It was called simply Your Name. That's actually the title of the movie for people that are wondering. So I just got home from watching it, the English dub version, in a theater, or in the theater, or in a theater, rather. Um, so these aren't typically the animes that I personally look out for, and I didn't really know what people were talking about. Mainly, I had heard about it on the Funimation forums. Some people said to go check it out. So I was like, I'll go check it out. There was only 2 airings though per day for the English dub. All the rest are subtitle ones, so I had to watch it at a certain time. So I watched it. The movie is basically based around a female girl named Misuhas, and the guy's name is Taki. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I think that's how it's said, or how it's pronounced. Taki and Misuha. Um, and oh, one more thing. The following is spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, get out of this video right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And basically, this movie, it's kind of like a paradox movie, so to speak, because it's basically normal life, but at the same time time there's like time stuff involved in this movie, so you have to really focus on the movie. And I kind of figured that right away when they started, switching and stuff like that, but we'll get to that in this movie. So this movie kind of starts off and you see them like interacting, while they're playing the music and stuff. She takes her little ribbon thing off and they have like this connection, and then they go to the real thing where they start up their normal lives. First you see, I could just only imagine how the voice actors interpret this, because you got basically the guy character Taki, basically now inside of the girl Misuha. So she's now inside of him, or of her, right? That's how the movie starts really off. Is like he is now her, basically. So he is now her life, okay? And he doesn't know what the hell's going on, because he's like, how am I a girl? He's feeling his boobs, and or her boobs, and he just doesn't know what he's doing. The little sister is all weirded out by it. It's just, weirdness going on. And, the movie kind of is like that throughout for most of the first, 20 minutes of the film. Later on, they would go on to show stuff about, how she doesn't really like, that life, the life that she's in, because she's like kind of in this country boonies place where you got the shrines. She's embarrassed by, having to, spit out, stuff in this, her shrine. I believe that's Shintoism. Where she was doing that, where she's doing the whole dress up stuff. So, and I couldn't get, like, because, like, she was, like, he was her, but there was also the point in the movie where it wasn't him anymore, it was her, because I don't know if that was a flashback or something, because when they got to the point where they were doing that ritual, it was clearly her, because they even had said you acted up the other day, not like yourself. And so um, there was tough stuff like that went on in this movie, and then she had wished that she would, have another life as someone else, and because of that, that's basically what happens. So then, the next day, she is now him. She is now Taki. Misuha is now Taki, and they're like basically, switching basically. And so now she's like, oh my god, oh my god. And there's a scene where she, tries to look at her private parts. You guys probably figure where I'm going with that one. And so now her friends are like, weirded out, basically, just like with the opposite way around. So now she's acting all different. When she eventually goes to work, there's a scene where they get scammed by a customer and they cut the girl's skirt, and she's like, sews it up for her, because she knows how to sew. So there's some of that stuff going on. And then for the next several days they do this. They communicate each other with cell phones and stuff like that, which is kind of weird that they could do that, since we know where, this movie ends up if you watch this movie. So all these communications, all these memos and stuff like that, they're, all these memos and whatnot. So that's all going on. And then eventually, because during the newscast they had always talked about comments and stuff like that, and so she said, oh, you need to look at the comments tonight, because they were back in their normal bodies at this point, because they would switch on and off. So she said, you need to look at the comment. So he did look at the comment. Nothing really happened, but for her it did. And then that was the end of her. And then we didn't hear anything from her. And then when he went to look for her, she basically wasn't able to be found. She wasn't able to be found, and that's because she had died 3 years prior to that, which means that she died 3 years before she had this communication with Taki, and Taki is 3 years older. So Taki is 3 years into the future, Misuha is 3 years into the past, and so their times are like different, but yet they're always switching into each other's lives. So it wasn't just locations, because earlier she had actually met him, but Taki had no idea who she was, because this was 3 years before they switched. So she didn't know, or he didn't know who she was in her time, because it was 3 years beforehand in his time, in his perspective. So it had some of those type of things going on in the movie. Eventually, Taki wants to go, try to find her, and he eventually goes to this island, and he goes into this cave where, it was the water that he set up for her, and he actually drinks some of it, and he falls into this, like, trance and stuff like that, and eventually winds up in her body again. And because of this, he now tries to prevent everyone else in, her, town to basically, like, evacuate and stuff. And no one's believing it. Her father is actually the mayor, and everyone is actually starting to figure it out that it's not really her, too. And even the mayor had figured that out, because, like, the mayor is like her father, basically. So, so there was that stuff too. going on. So now he's trying to prevent everyone. He's telling everyone we need to bomb they need to dominate the freaking the electricity. So they did that stuff. While this is going on, Misuha is now in Taki's body again, and she's wondering why she's there. So now they're figuring all this out, trying to figure out how to tell everyone. They eventually, do what they do. They bomb the stuff and whatnot, and then eventually they get to the point where, they're evacuating the sister, or I believe it was the sister, or maybe it was the friend. It was, I think, one of Misuka's friends that, was in the school, basically, telling everyone, like, you need to evacuate. They eventually catch her. And so they bomb it, or not bomb it, but then freaking, she then, eventually gets back into her. Misa actually at this point now gets back into her body, and then she talks to the mayor, about evacuating. About moments later, the explosion happens. But everyone seemed to be good because then they had the moment with Taki and Misaha, and they end up talking to each other for a little bit, and they said, we cannot forget each other. I think this is before that too, but they cannot forget each other, and so he writes down "I love you" if I'm not mistaken, which was supposed to be the name, and he was trying to write something down. She disappeared basically. So that was and then they eventually, like I said, forget their names, and I guess that's the concept of the title. And then the comet explosions happen, but everyone pretty much survives. There's no deaths, and a couple critical injuries, but no deaths. She survives, and then they basically do a time skip, like 8 years later after Taki's time, and now he's like an adult. He's talking to one of his former girlfriends, who basically says, I hope you have happiness. She shows like a ring and stuff like that, alluding to the fact that she's married, and he's still single, still trying to find her. And eventually, at the end of the movie, they eventually finally cross paths, and he asks, "Are you, someone I know?" And she's like, turns around, she cries, and she says, "I was thinking about the same thing about you." And so they finally meet up at the end, and then that's it. That's basically the movie. It was an okay movie. Nothing really special, I don't think, but I thought it was a pretty cool paradox concept that they had going. They had a lot of text, so you could see what they were writing, because there was a lot of Japanese writing, so there's a lot of text you have to read, which that sometimes becomes an issue. But it's really hard when you're trying to look at it really fast. But so there's a lot of that stuff going on in this film, and I don't think it's one of those great movies, but I thought it was an okay movie for what it was. It was made, like I said, it was made, like I think I said earlier in the film, early on. This was made by Spirit Away. I did like Spirit Away, but I believe these are the same people that made Spirit Away. So that's pretty cool. 'Cause I did like I do like Spirited Away, so that's why I wanted to, I guess, check this out, because a lot of people were saying that it was a cool film. So I checked it out. It was okay. is a cool parallax concept, um, with the whole time thing. I thought was pretty different. You know, not only to say that they were switching like bodies, but they were also switching what's the word? They were also switching like, times basically. Taki was 3 years into the future, Misa was 3 years into the past, all eventually meeting up. I think they should have done a little more at the end. I don't think the end was really set good enough. They just kind of confronted one another, and then that was the end of it. Like, I thought there was going to be like some kiss or something at the end, like, especially since this like show was just based, this whole movie was based on these two characters. Like everyone else was just basically whatever. It was just basically pinned on these two characters. And I was expecting like since they were like all up in arms for each other, I thought they were just gonna like kiss at the end or something, but that didn't really happen. Um, so, like, no, that's not. I was like, come on, like, there's got to be something going on here. So that was kind of a letdown. I felt like all that build up for like these two characters, and now they're like adults now, and not like doing like anything at the end. They just meet up, and just say, "What's your name?" What's your name? Because that's cliche, because that's the title of the movie. But yeah, it was a really interesting movie. If you're into this type of stuff, I would go check it out. Apparently, it beat out Spirit Away internationally, which kind of mind boggles me to think about it. Because Spirit Away was very good, but it did surpass Spirit Away. I don't know what its box office success will be here in the United States, but it seems like it's going to get a lot of theater releases, which is really interesting since Dragon Ball Z never got one, which I think Dragon Ball Z should have got before anything with the success it got in the little theater releases that it gets. But I would go check this out. Like I said, there's English dub and subtitle one. I watched the English version, obviously. I only watch English dubs. But they're only at certain theaters, but there's a lot of showings, I guess. Every day. So that's the thing about this movie. Overall, I thought it was an okay movie. It was just a regular standard movie, time parallax type thing. But still good. But it was just basically based on the two. But like I said, the only thing I feel like kind of was a letdown is you have these two characters that are intertwined. You think that oh my god, they're gonna kiss or something and that didn't happen. I was like, that was kind of a letdown. So that's my review on the English dub Your Name movie from the theaters. Let me know if you watched the movie, and let me know what your thoughts are on the movie. If you liked it or not, comment, rate. If you like this video or my other videos, please subscribe. And that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.